One of the most fun parts of writing for me is world building. Seeing a world come together is just magic. I'm in that process right now, actually, because I just started a new book. And so seeing the world build layer after layer after layer is just so fun. And that got me thinking about my journey with world building. Over the years, my world building philosophy has changed, it has sharpened, it has gotten really effective. And I don't say that lightly. World building is one of the things that my readers enjoy the most about my books. However, the truth is that I didn't actually come up with this method of world building. At least, not alone. If you're new to my channel, welcome back. My name is Seth. I'm a full-time fantasy author. I like making YouTube videos about writing and about being an author, and today we're going to talk about world building. And more importantly, we're going to talk about the source of my world building superpower. And that is a podcast called The Worldcraft Club that I started with a buddy about 5 years ago. And it has now grown into a wonderful community. You can find the Worldcraft Club community on Discord. And we've actually just switched into doing video podcast episodes, which is really exciting. And you can find those on the Worldcraft Club channel. I'm sure AJ will link it in the description for you, and maybe even put it up here on the screen next to my beautiful face. But I was reflecting on how the Worldcraft Club got started. And it was really born out of conversation, a back and forth between me and a buddy about all of these different world building topics. And we started saying, why is world building done this specific way? Where does world building come from? What are the sort of pillars of world building? And how do we understand them? More importantly, I was trying to answer the question, how do I apply this to what I am writing? I won't bore you with all of the details, but suffice it to say, we stumbled upon, after years of conversation, a really slick world building method that has been just so tremendously helpful in thinking through ideas. It starts with what we call the core concept, the singular idea or phrase that encapsulates the story you're trying to tell. And more importantly, against which you can test everything that exists in the story to make sure that it feels right. Because that's actually one of the biggest things about world building that we realized, is that people don't care about factuality. Is factuality a real word? Something tells me that it's not a real word. People don't care about a story being factual. They care about it feeling factual. That's a huge, important distinction. And I remember the moment when I realized that, I don't have to be factually accurate in my story. The reader just has to feel as if what I just said is accurate. I mean, that's very helpful considering that I write fantasy. And so it's kind of hard to be factually accurate when it comes to magic on account of magic, not existing. The point is, though, that what I say does have to be plausible. It has to be coherent enough that I'm not breaking my reader's immersion. And so that's where the core concept is super vital, is just in acting as an anchor that can really pull everything together. After that, we like to set a few boundaries, explaining what the world is and isn't. And these boundaries really just serve as guide rails, identifying the sandbox in which you're playing. See, playing in a sandbox is really fun. Wandering in an endless desert is not. Both have sand, both have the sun beating down on them, but one sparks the imagination and the other leads to death. And too often in stories, we step into a world and just find it's an endless desert where we wander forever without direction and without anything to orient us towards our objective. Boundaries act as these railings that keep us on the right path, that keep us in the right space. And there's actually a secret hidden there as well. It's easier to come up with ideas inside a defined scope than it is if you have limitless possibilities. I don't know why the human brain works like that, but it does. If you give somebody an infinite number of choices, you make it harder for them to make the choice. In fact, science tells us that the more choices somebody has, the less likely they are to make a choice. On the other hand, if you give them only a few choices, they're more likely to not only make a choice, but be more committed to that choice. So we actually leverage this principle in order to hack our creativity, making it easier for us to come up with coherent and immersive world details. And that's it. That is all you need to build a world. Of course, you're going to layer details on as you go, but as long as every detail fits within the boundaries and is oriented towards the core concept, you're going to find yourself with a fantastic world. Actually, I thought this would be fun. I am building a new world, and I want to show you this right here. That is the sum total of what I started with for my world building. That was enough to start writing. I have a core concept, and I have some boundaries. And that's it. That's all I needed. And that's all you need as well. Actually, I lied. There is one other thing you need, and that is to go and listen to the Worldcraft Club, because the conversations we have on there are just spectacular. So head over to that channel and subscribe if you're interested in world building, and stay tuned because we've got a lot of cool content coming soon.